Yes, welcome to the class. Can you all hear me and see me, please? Online.
Yes,
Online?
yes,
Right, thank you. Today's we have completed the very first one. Unfortunately, yes, there were some technical problems from their side. I mean, the service provider side, and I took 1 hour leave last time, if you can remember, right? So for that, we will be compensating, as we said, half an hour every day until we just finish it off, right? But sometimes I might end it up at the usual time. Only for today. Maybe next time we can take the half an hour. We'll see if my physiology supports me, right? We can do so. I'm little out of my sound. So today we are going to look at some extensive lesson on ethics. Now you might be wondering as to why they have taken the second lesson also on what ethics, but this is something very important. Yes, ethics and values and behaviors and related elements will make you a what? Make you a yes. Complete the sentence. Ethics, values, good behavior. Will make you a good behavior, of course, related to business. Corporate one. No, I'm talking about individual. Yeah, manager, what else? Will make you right. Yeah, good employee. Not that your answers are wrong. I need something. Whether it is business owner or employee or manager. Yes, that those will make you a good brand. That is what I need. Right? So when you go out of Oxford and yes, we have completed the degree, I want you to become a brand. Degree brands are not that frequent, not that I would say not that found everywhere. So I want you to become a brand because people sense your values, people sense your ethics, people sense your what good behaviors. You like yes your lecturer to be well behaved or ill behaved. ඔගොල්ලෝ එක එකක් තියෙන්නේ මම මෙතන ill behaved. You can't. Of course, I have to deliver the technical elements of it. Otherwise, I mean, the prime concern here to impart knowledge. So that has to be there. But if I insult you, right? If I throw sarcasm on you, rather than publicly you would complain it well. You see that you can do so. You are very well entitled to do so. Right? So if I want to become a good lecturer, there are certain standards that I have to maintain in my behavior, ethics, and what values, all that. Even තමයි lecturer කෙනෙක් brand when I never say that I am a brand. That has to be just by you. That has to be communicated to the OCD by you. මට කියන්නේ අරවට ඉකයි. උගලන්ට brand හදන්න ඕනේ ඔෆිස් එකට ගියපුවාම අර දී කියන ටික තමයි. Then people will make you a brand. Coca-Cola, something like that, you have to upgrade and promote and familiarize, right? That you can do. That is for commodity. These ethics are for who? for human. Isilla, before upgrading before developing, before familiarizing your office brand, you have to become a brand yourself. No? Yes, right? Then only you can just take the leadership. You understand? Exam, මේවා හරි වැදගත්. ඉස්කෝලේදී මේවා ඒ තරම් වැදගත් කියලා උනන්නේ කියලා දීලා නැතුව ඇති කියලා තමයි මම තාම හිතන්නේ. Since I am not very familiar with the modern syllabus of O levels and A levels. I think since this is Sri Lanka, yes, it has been like my time. අපේ කාලේ නම් මම මොනවත් කියන්නේ නැහැ. අපි ෆිසික්ස් ගෑනු අර පැත්තේ accountancy මේ geography. But then you had in chemistry, then biology. Tamai untheory negative that because they have not been told. These have been told to Mama. Tamai has been done a guru by the best, right? They have it has to be told, in my opinion. I'm sorry to this. Some people might have been told or taught at home. At home, you at home, you is followed. Right? Because parents are different, ethics are different, values are different. So you have to bring these children together. I'm talking about school education. So that's why this lesson is precious. Nothing technical. This is what is going to make you a brand or successful person in your business. And if I am to specify on your business life, on your employment life, right? As you correctly pointed out, it is what important for your married life, social life. Right? Because there's one saying, I can't remember that guru, you are the average of, I know that is little unfair for me to ask for you to complete the sentence. You are the average of right, yeah, in number, the 5%, right, whom you associate closely to you, your immediate 5 friends in simple English, right? So that is the average. Because peer pressure is there. I'm not talking about elders specifically. Of course, if you have some inclination towards your elders, for you to make love and respect and all those things, right? Then of course there would be some influence from them. But your age, my age, everyone's age, right? We are more close to our peers. Peers are old, those who are in same age. So peer pressure is very influential. So you are the average of the 5 persons whom you keep the closest associationship with. Right? So when you are an ethical person, right, those unwanted people of no values, no ethics will not come to your company because they are not compatible. You decide, right? I have my friends, those who have not studied the religion, but they keep good values, good. For some reason, they have not. I mean, they have not got kind of an academic qualifications as such, but they are nice people. On the other hand, I have some set of friends who might keep at bay and they get at arm's length. Okay? But they are doing right. So they are very well qualified. Still, the associationship is not that well. They themselves put themselves in victim. That's the thing. That's why we are teaching this, right? We all know we have one presentation and one report. We'll make the report presentation to pass. physically fail. That's why I don't want to happen that, right? So can we look at the rules? So theories of business ethics. Locate the role of ethical theory. Little bit of theory as it suggests, right? Provide critical overview of traditional ethical theories, right? Explore contemporary ethical theories. Maybe little out of your education that you have been having so far, right? Because we are going to look at not just ethics, but what? Yes, the theoretical background behind ethics, right? You understand what I mean? So, have you heard of? Now, I have spoken on ethics 7 times. Yeah, sufficiently talked about ethics there and the importance of ethics as well. So, can I ask you a question? The next slide, of course. Where do you think this ethics have come from? The origin, one origin of ethics. Then, ලෝකේ තියෙන ආචාරධර්ම වෛද්‍යවරුන්ට තියෙන accountants ලා තියෙන lawyers ලාට තියෙන අතර origin කොහෙන්ද? The spring of ethics. Any clue? Yeah, that's a very how can we say, very significant source of origin, right? What else? Actually speaking, religion is the most ancient and most fundamental origin of ethics. Even the ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ. And now, if we take an example of sexual harassment at office life, may be inspired by the third precept from Buddhism, and thou shalt not commit adultery in Christianity. Okay? Which commandment is that? You have 10 commandments, are you sure, right? You have 10, but you can't remember the order. නරේන මොහොතකට ඉස්සෙල්ලා හරි ඒක ඉගෙන ගන්න. Right? You have to practice ethics before you die, my dear. Right? But you need to still learning, but you didn't receive any. Next one, yes. Yes, thou shalt not kill, no? Then the first precept is what? In Buddhism, yes, you all know Panatipata, that I undertake not to take, I promise, so I undertake not to take anyone's life and not to harm anyone. That's it. So you can see that they have been inspirations on ethics, right? Would you like to add something on religion, especially those who are from other religions than Buddhism? I can talk on Buddhism a lot, right? But yes, your you can talk about yes. What does Bhagavad Gita say? Bhagavad Gita is a little bit alien to all of the communities because it has not been popularized enough, no? as a holy book, right? Holy can Narakali ever. Holy those are manuscripts, I mean handwrits. Holy go partly and then ignore make theater level, you don't respect. Just like you go to Ramalika, right? There are gala, the canala, Natala, Gala, and then again more fancy. No point. There are certain good results originating from that you worship. That is very mild. Keep your precepts. That is very precious. Keep your ethics. That is very precious. That will make you good, I would say, brand in your profession. So shall we look at now who are the other, or rather, what are the other origins that we think? Now, who is Socrates? Who is Plato? Who is Aristotle? Yeah. How do you call it? Yeah. Yes. Online. How do we call them? Can you understand now some part of life is lacking in your education? Mean I'm not give if you can't give a common name, right? Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Kant, yes, Kant get a C-A-T, right? Immanuel Kant. අර කාන්ට් නම ඕඩ දන්න අපෝ බෑ දැන් බෑ මට දැන් බෑ right yes yeah because philosophers no they are not actually religious leaders they are thinkers they are little different from that of religious leaders so now there are people called yes religion followers and how do you call the other people? Those who don't, yeah, atheist can with something to do with language, right? Atheist can be one who does not believe in God. Now, Buddhists are atheists in that meaning, because yes, Buddhists do not believe in one almighty God, right? So the correct term is free thinker. Religion followers and who are the other people? Free thinkers. So don't think free thinkers are bad. සමහර ඔය පහළු ආගම් අදහනවයි කියන හැම ඕනවා අදහනවට වැඩි සමහර free thinkers ලා ඉන්නවා they are very virtuous. And all those even though they are not following certain religion, all the blessings of that religious teachers will be theirs because they are following those virtues, even though they don't have faith. You get the results. If you take the refuge in Buddha, of course, you have some value addition, yes, for your life, right? And that applies to almost all the religions, right? If you take, if you have faith in your religious leader, and you have some sort of protection, some sort of what? Some sort of guide, or some sort of, I would say, path, how can we say, showing or director type guidance is there, right? But still, free thinkers are also there. So why I took this example as free thinkers, they are also important. So the next slide is important. Yes, religion, philosophy, political movements, certain, no? Right? හරි ආසයි මේ අලුත් දැනුම මේ. කියන්නේ ලෝකේ දැනගෙන තියෙන අර ටෙක්නිකල් දේවල් පොඩ්ඩක් ගුවන්ලා දැන් වැඩක් නැහැ කියලා because we need good people here, no? First and foremost. Right? So I'm very happy with this education. I don't know whether you are happy or not, right? I also have degree in mathematics, right? That is my first degree, so I like mathematics. That is something. For the reason that you are genius in mathematics, will you become a cheerful man? So good. I don't think so. But if you follow the real path of some religion or philosopher, in my opinion, you will be very happy. I don't know. Am I correct? Yes. If Kotia here, right? Then we have political movements. Yes, can you name one political movement which has given rise to ethics? Find it up. Yes. No, this is politics. Yeah, laws must have got the influence from politics, and politics must have been influenced by law. call that, just back and forth, how we call reciprocity. Anyonyata. We are talking about what? Yes, politics. What are politics? What do you know about? Yes, any recent political icon that comes to your mind who made an influence positive on the world's behavior, or maybe the forward march of world. මේ ලංකාවේ හොයන්න බා ලංකාවේ ඉන්න පුළුවන්. Yeah, maybe one or two. Yes, CWW Kannan, with all the respect, because you and I are here because of him. He made all the way, yes, for us to have the free education. He wrote the, what you call the Free Education Act in 1949. Next election, he's lost. And then we had this man, Vimala Surin, who introduced hydropower. Yes, he won the first election, next election gone. That is how we paid how we call gratitude as a nation. But maybe, yes, South Africans are different in that contemporary ages. He's my, as you correctly pointed out, he's my hero in politics, right? Nelson Mandela. Have you seen, by the way, how to call that Invictus? I think once I recommended you like, පොඩි කැලලක් මට පෙන්නන්න right term ඕනේ හැබැයි මට කික් එකක් ආවද ඒක right because I love that acting that is performed by this actor he's an African right he's little over there Nelson Mandela that's super right so political movements yes one more political Martin Luther King one more political. It may be Marx, it may be Lenin. Controversial. Yeah, controversial. Right? Controversial can what the Yuvada Panna. Our Marx good particular. For the new Marx being political will be movement activity. We have first admit, my dear. We have first accept that it is a political movement whether we like it or not. You understand my point? Yes. And the political leadership that was given by Mr. Lakshman Kadirgami here. Yes. He is my icon in Sri Lankan politics. I love to, certain things I have absorbed from him, maybe his talking, his behaviors, his values, because I did not work under him. I didn't have that privilege, but I have had certain conversations with whom work with Mr. Lakshman Kadirgami. So I have come to know what type of a person he is. I was not privileged because I was at that time I was a university student. And the I have to put that assignment there. Understand? Right? You were doing so that those associationship is very important. The parents are good, but parents have been there from the childhood. That influence is very different, no? But in someone from outside this, the territory of your family relation, how to call that apprenticeship. You have another word. Apprenticeship for whatever it is. Internship, right? So when you are into that, please find Sally Balanify. සමහරට නරක තැනක වුණාට කියලා 5000 pocket money is important. I understand in this age. හැබැයි more than pocket money that influence is important to you are talking about ethics. Ethics නැති ජරාන් මිනිහෙක් ළඟ ලක්ෂයක් වුණත් වැඩක් නැහැ. So this is your foundation. You understand? හොඳ කෙනෙක් හොයාගන්න යාට සල්ලි නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ සල්ලි නොදෙනවා වෙන්නත්. Because he wants someone committed to work not for the money-driven, I would say, emotion, right? So there are certain political movements. So I would like to show you another political movement from yes, that beautiful film, Invictus. Right, superb. නළුවෙක් වෙනවනම් මේ වගේ නළුවෙක් වෙන්න. මම පෙන්නන්න, right? Mhm. Yeah, Invictus full movie, I don't think that we can find ඒකම නිකන් බොරුවක් නේ කරන්නේ ඒගොල්ලෝ. This is, yes, this is a very powerful, yes. When Nelson Mandela was elected as the president, he comes to the office. So all these white people are scared of him. බලන්න යාගේ ethics වලින් යා කොහොමද පෙන්නන්නේ that you, there is no reason for you to be afraid of the new rule. That is rule from the so-called black, right? Nelson Mandela, yes, what would you do first? I'm just asking about ethics, right? Now you have been imprisoned for how many years? 27 years for the reason that you fought for some political movement. Now you are out of the, yes, imprisonment and you have become the president of the country. What would you do first? තාපු එවුන් හොයාගෙන ගිහිල්ලා තාපු හොයාගෙන ගිහිල්ලා මුඹ හිරේට දාලා පුළුවන් නම් මරලා දාලා තමයි මම ඉස්සෙල්ලා පුදුවේ වාඩි වෙන්නේ. Yeah, ample examples of Sri Lankan politics. No? But what did he do? Right? The first arrival to his office as the president, right? He make it lesson right? So it's a wonderful film. You should watch. මේ අර මොකද්ද මේ TV මොකද්ද how do you call CD කඩේට ගියා. You go with the මොකද මට උගන්නයි නේ how to get a film. You go with the pen and ask him to download, no? Store this one, Invictus. PLCI. ලැජ්ජයි කියන්නේ ගානත්, right? Right.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep track of all my tasks. I start by brain dumping everything I need to get done in a list view. Next, I set a priority and a due date to keep things on track.
So this is his right. What is the mic happening? Morgan, right? Yes.
Good morning.
More.
They are showing Morgan's photo, not
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Brenda, you've had your hair done.
So see the cheerful nature.
Yeah, we need to talk about your cabinet appointments and ministers.
Give me one moment.
I'm not emailing
After you
right
call the
now,
president.
Thank you, sir.
You can see this.
Office of the President, good morning.
This is what
Brenda, please assemble all the staff for me. All those who haven't already left.
Right now, all of them?
Yes, please.
Yes, Madam. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to follow me, please. The President would like to speak with you.
Here he comes. Yeah. He wants the satisfaction of firing us himself.
I'd like you to stay out here.
Yes, but Madiba,
I cannot talk to them hiding behind men with guns. Goimora, Alma. Good morning. How are you this morning?
Fine.
It's good to see you. Thank you for coming on such short notice. Some of you may know who I am. I could not help noticing the empty offices as I came to work this morning, and all of the packing boxes. Now, of course, if you want to leave, that is your right, And if you feel in your heart that you cannot work with your new government, then it is better that you do leave right away. But if you are packing up because you fear that your language or the color of your skin or who you worked for before disqualifies you from working here, I am here to tell you, have no such fear. What is Rabbi is Rabbi. The past is the past. We look to the future now. We need your help. We want your help. If you would like to stay, you would be doing your country a great service. All I ask is that you do your work to the best of your abilities and with good heart. I promise to do the same. If we can manage that, our country will be a shining light in the world.
Yeah, that's it. Loudly කියුණා. ඕ වගේ එකක් බලපුවාම මේ දවස් දෙකක් විතර කන්න නැතුව ඉන්න පුළුවන්. So you have enough energy. Right? You don't want to eat. Right. I love to run a couple of videos, but time doesn't permit us. Right. Follow him. Yes, he's a man to follow, right? Without, without any, I would say, specification on religion, race, whatever it is, right? That's why even Barack Obama came to his funeral. Have you seen any leader in your living time that yes, I have been talking without this.
Sorry, that's I could not wear this. That 10, 20, yes, 20 or 25, maybe 30 political leaders from different countries, right? Who visited some funeral, yes, during your living time. No, right? We might have seen, yes, political leader, yes, 1 or 2 coming, but we saw, no, in his what do you call, yes, funeral, festival of funeral, yes, many political leaders came, visited that funeral because of his ethics, because he showed us a political movement, right? Yes, can we have a look at this, something that I discussed? So this is what I we have been talking, this one, sorry, religion as a source of ethics. Spring kyanne, yes, source, right? So no killing, stealing, lying, sexual misconduct. Yes, this is Panchasila, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yes, you have killing, you have sexual misconduct, you have stealing. Yes, this is 4th precept, and this one 5th precept, right? So this is the original, this is the influence from the religions, right? Next one, influence from pervades. Yes, that is differences between Catholic, how do you call this one? Lutheran and Calvinist traditions in Europe. Yeah, maybe there are different classes of Christianity. Am I there? Anyone? Christians? No, no idea, right? Whatever it is. Specific.
No,
Yes, yes. Yes, what is it? Hello? Right. Specific injunctions around abstaining from economic life. Holy days, yes. Now, even in Sri Lanka, yes, on Poe days, all bars are closed and all cinema halls are closed. No, that is one, maybe some influence from the religion itself. But as far as I know, right, taking intoxicants, whether it is per day or not, is bad, right? But this is something symbolic. Symbolically, we are closing as a respect to religion. Other days we are not paying any respect. Api hondara bono. Anything bonna. So some free thinkers are like that, no? You can blame, not blame, you can criticize, you can have some critique on them on that grounds, but not on every ground. Interfaith declaration. So this is something religious declaration. Prakashana tiyenne, antaragamika prakashana. Set key principles: justice, mutual respect, stewardship, honesty. Religious figures commenting on business practice. There are certain books written on business and Buddhism, business, Christianity, Hinduism, this and that, right? So there are literature like that, right? In as far as Buddhism is concerned, there are so many books written on ethical business and Buddhism, something like that, right? So there are things that have been preached by the Buddha as to how to do ethical business. Just like Patta Kamma Sutta and Singalovada Sutta. Yes, likewise, now Buddhas appear in the world not to show how to do business. That is how to end the sansaric journey. But apart from the main focus, they have spoken on that. All the Buddhas have spoken on that, how to do. Api gathot oy religious leaders la egolo podda katha karala tiyena, because their mainstream is not business. Their mainstream is not family life. Their mainstream is not education. But time to time they have spoken on that. ඉතින් ඒක නිසා අපිට කො මේකේ තියෙනවයි කියලා කියන්න බෑ. Do you understand? Because other people have spoken on that. Now if you take, yes, this is very important, because some people say, if someone says something, okay, Buddha agame තියෙනවා. පොඩ්ඩක් තියෙනවා තමයි. Right? Everything is not there in Buddhism. Example. Now, sexual misconduct is bad. That is having a matrimonial relationship, right? And having, yes, extra marital sexual relationship is bad. Bad in the sense that's a sin, right? That's a sin according to Buddhism. That's there. And there are certain things that have been preached by the Buddha for you to lead a successful, happy married life. But everything is not there. Now, for a successful, happy life, is sex important? Yes or no? Is sex important for you to lead a happy matrimonial life? Yes or no? I know that you have not experienced, but you know it, no? Right? Experience කරන්න කලින් තමයි මේවා ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ. Do you understand? If both the parties, males and female, come to know about that, their matrimonial life will be a bliss. Right? Blissful life will be there, right? Yes. So sex is important. And Buddhism has not talked about anything on matrimonial sex. Right? For instance, now there is a saying, don't change your partner, change the posture. Do you understand what I say? So something like that. Now they have not been taught in religion. That's why these free thinkers or philosophies, teachers are important in your ethics. No, do you understand? Right. Now those who have written books on applied psychology, like positive thinking, maybe yes, Dale Carnegie. Yeah, I don't know whether you have read books by them, right? Those are very important. Influence religion. Then we have normative and descriptive ethical theories. Ethical theories are the rules and principles that determine right and wrong for any given situation. So why we yes, why we learn ethical theories, right? Because we can determine when we are in a questionable situation, right? Whether we are right or wrong. Now you are a pilot. ඔන්න දැන් එලෝගෙන යනවා දැන් වැඩේ දැන් කෝ පයිලට් උත් ඉන්නවා දැන් මෙතන පත්තු වෙන්න යනවා how many are on board 100 people, right? Now you get the alarms, now it's going to crash, right? දැන් බාගෙන යනවා, right? දැන් ගේ අප් වෙනවා ගේ අල්ලගෙන කඩාගෙන ගියොත් මට then you can put your plane into a maybe river, right? Then you are of the opinion that you can save, if not all, some of the lives. හැබැයි ගේ ඇතුලේ මිනිස්සු ඉන්න බව that signals show. දැන් අල්ලනවද ගෙට? නැත්තම් වෙන කොහෙද අල්ලනවද? That's the ethical decision that you have to make. No, do you understand? අල්ලනවද? Then you kill yourself with 100 people. What would you do? ගෙට අල්ලනවද? 100 එක මරාගෙන වත් මරනවද? I understand it's a very tough situation, no? Even my asking is not that fair. What would you do? If I were the pilot, I would hit the house and go through the house and go take my flight to the river. That is how I think. Because I'm sure that in that house, yes, there can't be 100 or more lives. Do you understand? Had it been a hospital, yes, amma. Then of course, and I think, I don't know. Then the situation is different. That's why we need what? What? Yes, theories for us to understand. නැත්තම් එතනදී තමයි theory මොකද කරන්නේ theory එකක් මතක් theory එතනදී මතක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. I understand. It's a very quick decision that you have to make. But in your office, you don't have to make that quick, no. Right? Now, for instance, I'm taking another example, right? We'll say that you are running a hotel, right? And you can, yes, emit your wastage to the sea without any cost, right? Would you do that? Because even if you do that, no one will come and complain because you can jolly well do that. There are certain hotels in Sri Lanka, still they are into this practice, right? They just emit their wastage to the sea, right? Now, would you do that? Now, that is not as urgent as that of a pilot's case, no? That's something ethical decision that you have to make there, my dear friends, right? What would you do? Do you incur heavy financial cost on that and do the needful as a company, or just for free you just yes, emit it to the sea? What would you do? Ethical. All right. So we need to understand. We need to understand what the theories spoken by the different theorists for us to enable ourselves when making tough decisions. Yes, you have a very close relation of yourself who is on, how do you call that, ventilator? Yeah, ventilator on, how do you call that, on terminal, no, not, yeah, on, yes, either die or live situation. Now, doctors say that you can try, right? And there is no such guarantee. අපිට ජීවිතේ මේව මුණ දෙන්න වෙන දේවල්. මොකද අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් නේ අපිට ඕවා එන්නේ. අනිත් අයට තමයි ඕවා එන්නේ. එහෙම එකක් නැහැ. right? ඕවා මේවා එනවා. මේවා ආවොත් තීරණ ගන්නෙ කොහොමද? මේ තියෙන theories හදලා තියෙනවා මිනිස්සු. එතකොට අපිට සහැල්ලුයි පොඩ්ඩක් නේ. Then you don't have to frustrate, you don't have to feel guilty because you have based your decision on some ethical theory. මේ ලෝකෙ මිනිස්සු කියලා දීලා තියෙනවා. So what would you do? Would you take the ventilator or the so-called equipment out from the relative, or whether you continue with that. If you continue with that, huge amount of cost will be there, and your child is also suffering from that, and you don't have money. අරක ඉතුරු කරගත්තත් you can save your child. අම්මව අයින් කරනවද? දරුවව බේර ගන්න. So this is a tough situation. So you, in my opinion, when you learn these things, you will never regret, because you know people have spoken on these things before very well. Very well before that we have encountered the same thing, no? To understand, right? I think I spoke on, did I speak on now you are a scientist, right? And you are representing your country. Did I speak on that example? Or maybe some other class, no? Yeah, I may be in the MBA class. Yes, the online people can also answer this, right? You are a scientist, right? Now you are the how do you call, the main person in some scientific research, and you are in the verge of finding something new for the country, right? And you are now being contacted by a person from another country, maybe a rival country of yours, right? And tell Mr. or Mrs. so and so, we are calling from that country and we are representing the president or the prime minister of that country, and your family is in our hostage now, right? If you sabotage the research, again, right? If you join us, yes, every privilege is yours. Otherwise, you will not be able to see your family anymore. What would you do? What would you do? You are a research scientist, right? And yes, if you continue with the research work, yes, you are not going to see your family anymore. And if you sabotage by yourself and yes, finish the work, yes, we will take you to our country and your family will be very well looked after. You don't have to work anymore. What would you do? Yeah, that's very unfair. මට අහන්නත් බෑ ඔයගොල්ලන්ගෙන් නේ. Yeah, හරි කැතයි එහෙම එකක් අහන එක. But since you are my friends, I can ask, right? Yes.
Getting advice from government or CID, so that
If you get my dear, your family is gone, no? You mean secretly?
yeah.
That is what ethics says to you. We have to assume there is no room, because when you call, everything is now tapped. We have to assume those things, no? ඒවට ඒ වගේ වෙලාවක ආයි ෆෝන් අල්ලන්න යන්න බෑ. මේකෙන් වැඩක් දෙනවා මිසක් තනියෙන්, since this chip is not connected to them, right? You can't get connected to, because almost all the connections are tapped, right? කතා කරොත් ඉවර තමයි ආයේ. ඒවත් කියයි. I mean, please don't try, yes, to outsmart us, right? Because everything is tapped. උන් එහෙම කරලා නැති වුණත් එහෙම කියයි. So then we are under obligation not to do, no? Because අපිව බලාගත් family members, like maybe your parents, your spouse, your kids, everything is there in their hostage. පුළුවන් නේ කරන්න, එහෙම ලෝකේ කරලා තියෙනවනේ නේ. I think that happened to, I think one of the scientists, Mr. Senaka Bibile, who fought for a fair pharmaceutical industry here in Sri Lanka, had to pay his compensation from his life. He had a very secret death in Papua New Guinea, 1978. Right? I haven't seen him, right? I was a baby at that time, but I have read on his good work. So all what I don't want your answer, right? I know, don't harass your brain, right? මමත් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ වයසේදී ඒවා හිතලා තියෙනවා. If I am going to be a research or scientist one day, if this happens, because I have seen some films on the theme, right? There are a couple of films, no, I can't remember the names. So that's why we need, right? So I gave you some examples as to why we need theories, because we encounter these challenging situations in life, so that we can base one of the theories, so that we can make a comfortable decision in our life, right, without harassing ourselves. අර වගේ ආව කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. Sometimes no theory would help. Yes, of course. Do you understand? Right. Normative ethical theories are those that propose to prescribe the morally correct way of acting via rules, guidelines, principles, code of conduct that all rational beings would adhere to. So normative, ප්‍රතිමාන කියන්නේ ප්‍රතිමාන ආචාර ධර්ම. That is, ethical theories are those that propose to prescribe the morally correct way of acting. Morally, what is that? සදාචාර සම්පන්න විදියට හරියට හැසිරෙන ක්‍රම. Guidelines, principles, code of conduct that all rational beings would adhere to. Who are rational beings? So normative principles, right, are which will give the guidelines that of a rational person. That of a rational person. Then we all travel, yes, most of us might be, yes, in private buses, no? So we know that if a conductor, yes, shouts at you, if you are a rational person, you might, yes, you might not go into go into quarrel with him, no, because we all know, right, what type of education he has received, and what type of a man and what type of job he is doing. So in that situation, we might not get that yes, violent in our words. So that is how a rational person would behave in that situation. Conductor, right, having 2-3 degrees, yes, maybe, yes, maybe receiving some education in this level. So you are not showing some rational what behavior, right? Then ඔගොල්ලෝ මේ class එකේ ඉන්න, right, you are in class. So that is why I am asking everyone to come here, so you can understand these principles easily. Now, there is a way that a rational student would behave in this class. ඔගොල්ලෝ මං කියන එකකට ගාලා hina වෙනවනේ. That is very absurd, no? But ඔගොල්ලෝ මං ගොඩාක් hina වෙන එකකට මෙහෙම ඉන්නවා. That is also absurd. So that is not rational behavior. ඔගොල්ලෝ එහෙමයි කියලා කියන්නේ, you are very rational in my opinion, right? Your behaviors are very rational as far as my judgment is concerned. But now certain people's behavior might not be rational. මේ තාර්කික නෑ. ඒ හැසිරීම. හරිද? Certain husbands, wives, some certain wives are there, no, right? Now I am not discriminating ladies. How do you call that? Female gender, no? Some husbands say මේ ගෑනිට කොච්චර කිව්වත් ඒක තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේ මම රස්සාවට ගියපුවම calls ගන්න එපා කියලා කිව්වාම, right? I have some of my friends, in my presence I see that they get, yes, one after the other from the same woman. Yes, මොන පාපයකට කරගැහුවද කියලා අපිට හිතෙනවා, right? So that is a very irrational what behavior. Do you understand? So they are done husband office එකට ගියා, ඔයා ආවද කෑවද, that's very rational, no? So that is what ඊට පස්සේ ආයි ඕනනම් 12ට එකට ඔයා කෑවද, එහෙමනේ හොඳ wife කෙනෙක් බලන්න. ස්වාමි පුරුෂයත් ඒ විදිහට වෙන්න ඕන. So they are talked by just normative. Normative කියන්නේ ප්‍රතීයමාන. right? So from the point of view of a rational person, මේ rational person කියන එක දැන් boss කෙනෙක්. Yes, in your opinion, now rational behavior is that he says, he talks to his employees and asks certain work to be done, right? Then ඒ කියපු දෙයට සම්පූර්ණ විරුද්ධ දෙයක් හැන්දෑවි කියනවනේ. I have had that kind of people in my life. That's very උදේට කියනවා මේක කරන්න එපා. Something. Yes, don't send this letter. Yes, in the evenings the same person is asking from the same employee, අර කියවුවද? මොකද්ද මේ කියන්නේ? That's very irrational, no? Do you understand? So here we are talking about this I need your attention, right? This rational person's perspective is very important. So when you are in office, you can talk about when someone has maybe kind of someone has a challenge on your behavior. You can use this term. I have acted in the way that of a rational person's behavior. Do you understand? Now ලොක්කෝ කියනවනේ අරක කරන්න තිබුණා. ඔයාලට මෙහෙම හිතන්න. මේක කරන්න තිබ්බා. මේක කරන්න තිබ්බා. මේක කරන්න තිබ්බා. ඉතින් ඒක ඔක්කොම කරන්න මට පුළුවන්ද? You have to show what? No sir, I have acted in the way that a rational person would have acted, right? So that is what to understand normative. හරිද? එතකොට ඒක දාපුවම මොලේ තියෙන බොස් කෙනෙකුට ටක් ගාලා තේරෙනවා. That's it. මේ මෙලෝදයක් ඉගෙන ගන්න නැත්තම් do you understand that something wrong with the company as well, because they have they have put someone on the top who doesn't understand this one. Then the descriptive ethical theories as a code of conduct applied by particular group of society. So this is the difference. So any situation that you make use of a rational person, here rationality does not apply. Here what? Yes, group ethics, no? Now we'll say, I think I took this example last time as well. I am a male doctor, right? I am a male doctor and you are a female patient. You come to my dispensary and there is no nurse and there is no female or male how do you call helper? No, how do you call guardian from your side as well? Now rational person's perspective is what? If I am a doctor, ඔගොල්ලෝ අමාරුවෙන් you know as a lady, yes, මම මොනවාද බෙහෙත් කරන්න ඕනේ? That is from the point of view of what? Rational persons. But yes, descriptive ethics says if you are a male doctor, unless you have a female nurse or what, that the patient is coming with a guardian, you can't examine her. Then මොකද මං කරන්න ඕනේ? I have to tell, no? Sorry, I can't examine you because although my normative ethics would enable me to do, my descriptive ethics will not. Do you understand what I mean? Right. Yes, we should not discriminate the online people. No, online people, can we have your sound or any question, queries, anything? Do you have any question? I'm fed up of talking, right? Without being asked anything. Yes, are you there, my dear friends? Don't know whether they have. What are you looking at? You can see their faces. You're looking at me. Oh, what? Slide. My goodness. Slides are shown there. Okay, right. Yes, online. Online have gone into slumber. Yes. So can you hear me at least? Online?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you understand what I have been lecturing?
Yes, understood.
Yes, sir.
කෙනෙකුට තේරෙනවා. Right. Okay, right. Thank you. Yes, can we have a look at this dear online as well? There are two terms coming in. We had two terms in the earlier one as well. That is what? Normative ethics and descriptive ethics. Now we have the role of ethical theory, the two extreme positions. මොකද්ද මේ, how do you pronounce this? Absolute, yes? Yeah, how do you call? Absolutism. Absolute කියන්නේ නිරපේක්ෂ, without any relativity. Here relativism. Yes, absolute rights means no relative or no emphasis on other factors. Absolute truth, right? And yes, conventional truth, something like that. So certain things, I mean, relativity is not here, right? Absolute. Nirapekshi, right? Not in comparison with others. Absolute, right? So asserts eternal, universally applicable moral principle. Universally, yes, acceptable. Yes. Can you name one universally acceptable medical principle? Sugar is bad. මොන දොස්තරද කියන්නේ සීනි කහපන් කියලා? කවුරුවත් කියන්නේ. Eating meat without vegetables, that is not absolute. That's very relative. That's very it's dependent on your what? Physiology. Some doctors say what? Some doctors support the medical advice, you should take more and more meat items, and you should keep away from carbohydrate things, maybe things like that. And some doctors say no, you have to take what do you call Mediterranean diet, no, some amount of fish, yes, preferably not meat, and vegetables. ඕගොල්ලෝ මොනවා කනවද මන් දන්නේ. ඕගොල්ලෝ අහුවෙන දේ කනවා ඇති. ඒතර ඕගොල්ලන්ට අර තියරි එකක් නැහැ, මේ තියරි එකක් නැහැ. අහුවෙන්නේ මොනවද, දුන්න මොනවද, ටක් ගාලා බඩගිනිත් නැහැ, කනවා. So you don't fall into any theory, and in your age that happened to me as well, because I didn't have any education, right, as far as medical science are concerned. So this is, yes, universally applicable moral principles. Name one. Killing is bad. Stealing is bad. Yes, lying is bad. Sexual misconduct, universally accepted. I don't think so. Because some are of the opinion, no, while you are having your matrimonial life, if both the parties are consenting to each other, you can have extra matrimonial what? Affairs. Do you understand what? සමහර අය කියනවා, there are certain free thinkers, yes, who might say what? Yes, no, I mean, even though you are in a marriage, you can go out of the marriage if both are එයත් කරනවා මමත් කරනවා, දෙන්නට දෙන්න දන්නවා, ඉතින් කරගෙන ඉන්න. So that is not kind of a but morally acceptable principle eternally. Right and wrong are objective qualities. අන්න පුතේ වචනේ, මේක තමයි වචනේ. Yes, what do you mean by objective? So the key word for absolutism is what? Objective. What do you mean by objective? What is the opposite of objective? So you have to know these two words. What is the subjective? What is that? Subjective and objective. Subjective is, yes, in singular, what? How do you call? Pudgala Mulika, not Vishaya Mulika. Subjective means Pudgala Mulika. That is dependent on person, dependent on situation, right? And yes, objective is what? Vishaya Mulika. Vastavika kiyane, not dependent on the person, not dependent on the situation. Do you understand? Little bit of philosophy is there. subjective and objective. Now, yes, how can we look at that now? Yes, killing is bad. Yes, taking someone else's life for no reason is bad. That is what? Yes, that is very objective, irrespective of the person. That is true. Yes, yes. When you are in hunger, you can kill someone. That is what? That is not that is not objective, that is very subjective, because as you think, oh, if I am in hunger, I can take someone else's life. So that is what? Subjective. Dependent on faith, dependent on opinion, this and that. But irrespective of faith, this and that, everything, yes. Killing someone, taking someone's life in vain, kisima hetuwak නැතුව, right? That is bad. That is what? Objective. That is objective truth. විෂය මූලික සත්‍යයක්. අරක විෂය මූලික වාස්තවික කියලා වචනයක් තියෙන ලස්සන, right? සිංහලේ. ඊට පස්සේ අරකට කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? පුද්ගල මූලික. Do you understand? Do you understand? So certain principles are very subjective, certain principles are very objective. Do you understand? These two words will be spoken in your office life by your boss. Is it objective or subjective? So the boss is asking whether it is absolute or whether it is dependent on the person. Do you understand? Now the opinion on someone, I mean by someone, as to how ladies should dress. අන්න ගෑනු අඳින්න ඕන විදිය පිළිබඳ ගෑනු සහ පිරිමි හිතන විදිය මොකක්ද? Subjective to objective. Very subjective. Some people like, yes, you know, very attractive, very short, this and that. That is how girls or women should wear. Some people are, no, you can't say. Which one is correct or wrong? I don't know. You don't know. But they are very subjective, right? හැබැයි මේ රෑට මිනිස්සු බුදියන වෙලාවේ සද්ද කරන්න එපා කියන එක. Whether it is a temple, whether it is a church, mosque, kovil, whatever it is, right? That's very objective principle, right? Obvious. Whether it is spirit or whether it is chanting or whether it is, how do you call Hindu stanzas? Chantings. So those are very, actually very, how can we say, nuisance, right? So this is what do you call objective. Then you have ethical relativism, claims morality in context and context dependent. What is context? Sandarbhe. ඒ අවස්ථාවට ඒ පුද්ගලයාට ඒක හරි. Do you understand? So if something is not dependent on the context, that is very objective, we call it what? Absolutism. Right? Dependent on what? Relativism. That's context dependent on subjective. That context, that person. No? Now if you go to a party, that you should be cheerful and you should be what? Yes, dancing. Or you should behave in a way that it is kind of an extravaganza. What? Maybe, yes, absolutism, because everyone acknowledges it. No? But when you are in school, මිනිස්සු cheerful වෙලත් ඉන්නවා. Some people are, yes, down, some people are, yes, maybe, yes, depressed. That all can happen. I do understand. So that is relativism. Then we move on now. We have so far discussed as to how you make the decisions, right, based on these two. And then we have talked about two extremes, right? Absolutism, that is dependent on the, not dependent on the person or situation. And this is one dependent on the person and context. I mean the situation. Right. So typology of ethical theories. I would like to run one or two. Now, can we have a look at this, please? Yes. So ethical theories can be divided into ethics of conduct, ethics of character. That is what's sort of actions should be performed, not short, but sort of actions should be performed. What sort of people should we be? අපි මොන වගේ මිනිස්සු වෙන්න ඕනේද? අපි මොන වගේ දේවල් කරන්න ඕනේද? Ethical theories divided into two. What sort of people we should be and what sort of things that we should be doing and not doing as well, right? Then what sort of action should we perform? Makes two avenues. Yes, how do you pronounce this? ආමුතු වචන ටිකක් එනවා. Yes, consequence. So consequentialism, right? Deontology. Then we have for the agent, for everyone affected. Yes, ethical egoism, utilitarianism. උපයෝගිතාවට අමාරු පොඩ්ඩක්. හැබැයි මේ ඉගෙන ගන්න, right? Because these are the things that will be needed in your office life in the time to come sometimes. Then deontology, yes, Kant. Can you remember that I mentioned one name as Kant, K-A-N-T? Yes, Immanuel Kant. Kantianism, if I pronounce it correctly, right? Actions must satisfy the categorical imperative. I know this too much, right? We will be. Then Aristotelianism, right? Coming from the what sort of people we should be. So Aristotle has contributed to that area. So please have a look at this. දැන් මේවා මේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ අහගන්න ඉස්කෝලේදී වගේ කටපාඩම් කරලා ඔතන ගිහලා අලවන්න නෙමෙයි තියෙන්නේ. For you to develop your own what character, right? For you to develop your personality. That's why we are learning, because you don't have a paper, no? Right? You have the paper of life. Yes. Can we go one by one? Why this is not supporting? Right. Yes. Now we have yes, these two we understand very correctly. If AC is too much, we can AC is too much. I sense it, not that I saw you are yes having a repulsive sense. Where is this? මං කිව්වොත් ඔන්න ඉන්නවා ළමයි. මොකද්ද? That is very irrational behavior. Do you understand? I have to acknowledge that you are that you are in how do you call discomfort, no? That's if I do not acknowledge, that is very irrational behavior, very unethical behavior. හරිද? Then if someone says I want to go to toilet, පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්න ඔතන දානවා. බැරි නම් පොඩ්ඩක් ඉඳලා පස්සේ යනවා කියලා. මම කිව්වා that's very bad. So do you understand? You can, I mean, even now you can apply those things then and there. We'll see whether this is there. It's there. Can you operate it? Maybe you can send it to the others as well. Maybe they are also. How about you two there? You are comfortable? Because your brothers are sensing it. How do you feel it? Manageable. You can switch it off. I don't mind. Yes. Now we have to look at these two, right? Deontology and consequentialism. Consequences are ප්‍රතිඵල. ඉතින් සිංහල වචනය මට හදන්න වෙන්නේ ඒකට. ලස්සන වචන ඇති, but I don't get yes, can we so look at these two first, consequentialism and deontology, right? Okay. If my pronunciation is
Imagine conducting every part of your research only on one platform. Meet Boreum, your AI-powered research companion.
In this video, we'll talk about the three main families of moral theories within normative ethics: consequentialism, deontology, and virtue theory.
yes. Now he
Let's go ahead and get
has spoken in this episode virtue ethics as well. Virtues කියන්නේ මොනවද? Yes, somewhat close to values. Virtues කියන්නේ මොනවද? Virtues කියනවා සීලවන්තකමටත්. That he is a very virtuous man කියන්නේ හරි සිල්වත් කෙනෙක්. He is of values. He is of precepts. He is of good conduct. හරිද? අර අපි කියන by virtue of that act. ඒ act එකෙන් අපිට ලැබිලා තියෙන බලය අනුව, something like that, right? There are two meanings in the word virtue, right?
Started. So first things first, what is normative ethics? Well, normative ethics is devoted to examining our moral relations with another. It's one of the three main areas of moral philosophy, which includes value theory and meta-ethics as well. Within normative ethics, there are many moral theories. Moral theory attempts to give us a general principle or a set of principles that tell us what is morally right in a variety of cases. So one of the central aims of moral philosophy is to assess the plausibility of competing moral theories using rational argumentation. Although there are countless moral theories within normative ethics, most of them fall within three main camps, and that's consequentialism, deontology, and virtue ethics. Let's introduce each. One easy way to understand these theories is that they focus on different aspects relating to actions to determine whether an action is right or not. So any given action have things that come before it, like your character traits, your intentions, your motives, and of course things that come out of it, the consequences. And note that's true for any
Can we have a look at this?
choice you make, whether it's an action or inaction. Moral philosophers disagree on which aspect related to action is the most important thing to assess.
A person's character gives rise to intentions and motives which produce actions. So what does it say? My character gives rise to intentions and motives which produce actions. So it is some kind of an embedded thing in my character. Because of my character, I take, yes, I give, it gives rise to my intentions and motives, right? Now, I hold a key position in the government, in one of the government office, right? You hold. And you have ample opportunity for you to steal the government funds. Would you do? You say no, I don't know, right? Because you are maybe you are born to that good parents. Why? හොඳට ගහන තාත්තා කෙනෙක්ගේ දුවෙක් කියලා ඉපදුනා. But still I understand that you can be different, no? Because your character has not been shaped by that father. Maybe some other norms. So character will determine whether you are going to steal or not. Do you understand? So that is what is said by the consequentialism, right? So that is what it says. Your character will determine your intention and motives to produce actions or inactions, and that because on the other hand you refrain from stealing, still is motivated by your character. So character will determine. Character ගැන අපේ චරිත ලක්ෂණ න ඒක මොකක්ද කියලා වෙනම ඉතින් philosophical කතා බහක් යන්න පුළුවන් ඕන්න, right? What it is, right? So can we move on?
when assessing the action as a whole. So whether an action is right or wrong depends on one of these things. Each moral theory is going to present a different consideration for which one is the most important. Our first one is the easiest to understand, and that's consequentialism. Consequentialism says the primary thing that we should consider is what comes after an action. The right course of action is the one that will produce the best overall value, the best overall consequences. So it's what's nice about this particular theory. The description is within the name. It's consequences-ism. So the focus here, of course, is maximizing favorable consequences. Consequentialism has many different versions. One version is ethical egoism. Do what maximizes favorable consequences to yourself. That's what determines what you should do in the world. The flip side.
Do what maximizes favorable consequences for yourself. So can we look at this one? So you can see that yes, the right action is the one that produces the most intrinsic good. So dependent on my character, right, I do the action right and wrong and produces the most intrinsic good. So when you look at the amount of good that will make from that particular action, I involve in that. For instance, right, now my character is such that I don't steal, but I see that there is a needy person. So I am going to act as Robin Hood. That, or maybe who is the Sri Lankan version of Robin Hood? Saradhiel. Right? These are, yes, all these are ethics, no? Right? All these are very controversial. Right? Whether that is right or wrong, right? So when I look at the person's benefit, yes, it goes as ethical egoism. Then I then I look at the utility, the good of them, good of many people, right? Utilitarianism, something like that. Okay, I feel that I am holding this big position in the government, and I see that there is a big fund, and I see that big fund is being used for what? Extravaganza, right? Maybe like parties, right? Maybe like picnics. So I have the opportunity to somehow just pilfer and do something and get some amount of money, and I give it to a charity. That's what utilitarianism, good of many, right? And if I make use of myself, I'm sick person. Right? Now all these might be very controversial, right? I'm taking very controversial examples, right? So I am a big shot there in the government, and I am suffering from a kidney disease. මම බලන අරුන් පාටි දානවා මං අරගෙන මම මොකද්ද මම පොඩ්ඩක් කරන්න මම ඩයලිසිස් දෙක තුනක් කරගන්නවා. Do you understand? So those are very controversial situations. Do you understand? Right? Yes. Can we yes.
That is ethical altruism.
So do what maximizes favorable consequences for yourself. Yes. This is not there. Altruism is for the that is the other side. Yes, for the many, that is utilitarianism. Maybe
favorable consequences for others. Don't consider your own interest, only think about what the effects of other people. The most common version of consequentialism, however, is utilitarianism. Utilitarianism includes yourself.
Utility කියලා වචනයක් දන්නවනේ උපයෝගිතා. You have utility commission as well, no? Commission of utilities. උපයෝගීතාව කියන්නේ ඒක පාවිච්චි කරලා ලබන ප්‍රයෝජනෙ, right? Utilitarianism. ඒකෙන් එන වාදය. So utilitarianism means උපයෝගීතාවාදය. That is for the other people, not for me, right?
In ethical calculations, but also everybody else as well. The foundation to utilitarianism is the principle of utility. The principle of utility says, do what maximizes overall favorable consequences for everyone, yourself included, but of course, everyone else. The primary figures for this particular theory include John Stuart Mill, Jeremy Bentham, and some contemporary thinkers are Peter Singer and Will MacAskill. Consequentialism is so influential on modern-day ethics that some philosophers say there's only really two main categories of ethics: consequentialism and non-consequentialism. Well, within non-consequentialism, there's still pretty large categories, and the first one is deontology. So deontology, also sometimes called duty theory.
The most important part of moral assessment of the action are motives, intention and action themselves. Do they follow certain rules or obligations? So deontology is the, yes, where do we find deontology? Yes. Here what we are looking at is the end result. මට මොනවද? අනික් අයට මොනවද? End result. Do you understand? Here, yes, they are looking at what is right and wrong, what is correct and incorrect. Do you understand? මොන දේ ලැබුණත් හොරගම් කිරීම වැරදි. Something like that. Do you understand? So that is deontology. So where do we get these theories from? We have ethics of conduct, ethics of character, and ethics of conduct is divided into what? Consequentialism and deontology. Consequentialism is for me and for others. This is based on rules, right? උපයෝගීතාව පැත්තේ කියන්නේ end result එකෙන් යනවද? rules වලින් යනවද? Right? Right? Do you understand? මේ මම ලොක්කෙක් ආණ්ඩුවේ. Yes, I am a big shot. So this big amount is allocated for what? Parties. So by the rule of the ethics, yes, that should be allocated for what? Parties. Not for my sickness, not for your charity at large. No, this is rule is rule. Do you understand? So people can argue this way or other, no? Do you understand? So those are the two rules. Can I run that?
Theories claim that the most important part of moral assessment of actions is what comes before the action, or perhaps the action itself, whether it's following certain norms or rules. In fact, the etymology of the term deontology comes from the root of rules or duty. So here the most important thing to evaluate an action are our motives, intentions, our reasons for action. Deontology is the most diverse of the three main families. There are so many different versions. That's because depending on what set of rules you come up with, it's going to be a different version of deontology. That's the first major category here, is just coming up with some type of list of duties and asking whether your actions or your intentions are following those duties. Some easy examples include the 10 Commandments. If that's the rules that you think you should live by and that's your whole moral theory, it would be a version of deontology because you're asking whether your actions, your motives, and intentions are following these lists of rules. Another example is the idea of human rights. If you have a certain list of rights, then say that this is what you need to follow to be a good person, well, that would be also a version of deontology. However, arguably the most influential version of deontology is Kantianism, named after the philosopher Immanuel Kant. The foundation to Kantianism is what's called the categorical imperative. For Kantianism, reason and morality are one and the same. And so if you're going to have a reason for action, you should be able to think of it as a universal law. This is sometimes called the universality.
So Kantianism, that is Immanuel Kant's, right? That is universal principle. One act maximizes, that could be a universal law. So what he says is, yes, sorry. This is I am talking. Yeah, the good is defined independent of the right. That is deontology, and one version is actions must satisfy the categorical imperative. If something has to be done, you have to do that, right? Something like that. is expressed by this deontology, but you have to understand, sorry, this Kantianism. This is Kantianism is only one version of deontology, right?
Principle. Only act on maxims, your motives, intentions, your reasons for action that could become a universal law of nature. You have to be able to imagine everybody.
You are a doctor. I'm talking about Kantianism, right? You are a doctor, and one person is on how do you call ventilator? No, ventilator. Or how do you call that equipment? There's one word, no? Right. That person is there, and there is a rule that one person is given only 5 days of maximum stay. So whether you like it or not, you have to remove it. And that rule says by the doctor who is involved in that, you have to remove. So you are under Kantianism. You can't talk about someone else's good or this and that, right? Because that is the rule, right? Sometimes you might view it as inhumane, but still that is the rule, right? So that is what I want you to understand. Imperative.
Else also using those same reasons for action, and if you can't, or if it leads to some logical contradiction, it's wrong. Now, another formulation of the categorical imperative is what's called the principle of humanity, or the formula of humanity, which states that we should never treat any person merely as a means or as an object. Instead, treat every person, well, as a person.
Right. So this is all what I want you to understand. That ethical theories are divided into two: conduct and character. Character is Aristotelianism. Virtue is a mean between extremes of action or passion. We will explain this after the break, but I want you to understand this part. Ethics of conduct. What sort of actions should we perform? Looking at the consequences, looking at the results, looking at the rules. Simple as that. Yes. Looking at the results, my benefit, yes, others benefits at large. This is rule. Yes. So you have to go by way of the rule. This I will explain after the break because it's almost 10:10, right? So can we take maybe 15 minutes and come back? Yes, you can go out. You don't feel like going out. No. We have prepared 8 and Right. Can you all hear me, please? Yeah, I have to wear this, right? Fix. Can you all hear me, please? Online?
Yes.
All right. Thanks. So, this is what they are showing as utility, right? Fit of good for the by right. And is had a note. Online? Can you all? We had a notice. Connection is, looks that they can't. Up, no? Gone. Hear me? Can someone talk?
Connection is lagging.
Lagging, that's right. Right. Please have a look at this utilitarianism, because we were talking about, yes, this is Jeremy Bentham who has spoken on this utilitarianism. Can you all hear me again? Checking again. See me, hear me. Is online?
Audible, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I can go disregarding them. That is what? Unethical. You can base, yes. Now, had we, you can't talk, no, because that itself is unethical for me to talk, because they can't hear me. Let me talk to someone. Yes, can you all hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
online?
Yes.
Ah, right. Wali ay giyot mga katagar. So Jeremy Bentham is a master in utilitarianism. So also called the greatest happiness principle, that is happiness for greatest number of people, right? Based on cost benefit analysis. So this is called utilitarianism, upayogitavad. So this is all what we have discussed. Ethical egoism is an action morally, yes, just read. Makes freely decide, pursue either in short term desires or long term, that is given situation decision making freely decide, and this is Hobbes, right? That is for one's benefit, right? Adam Smith and Milton have been associated with egoism via their defenses of capitalism and the free market. So these are two people who have subscribed to two different philosophies, but they are in agreement with ethical egoism, right? Deontology, which we discussed. Ethics of duty, abstract, unchangeable obligations defined by a set of rationally deduced a priori moral rules, right? So deontology is only on rules, not on consequences, right? Which should be applied to all relevant ethical problems. So when it comes to deontology, we go by way of the rule, not by way of the consequences, right? So consistency, there are, now what do you mean by the word maxim? It's kind of a saying. Aaptyak කියන්නේ සිංහලෙන් saying. Maybe yes, all that glitter are not golden. Dilisena siyalla run away. That is kind of a proverb and at the same time maxim. No? Now in law also you have maxims, right? Nemo dat kuat nan habit. That is, no one can give what he doesn't have. That is in law. So that's called aptya, maxim. So likewise, we have maxims, saying, right? In deontology as well. What is consistency? Act only according to the maxim by which you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. So you act according to the maxim by which you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. So you act according to, or rather that you create kind of a universal law because you do it in a consistent way. ඒක තමයි දිගටම කරගෙන ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ. So the consistency is one maxim of deontology, right? Because you go by the rule, no? So rule, it has been there, simple as that, right? Human dignity, act so that you treat humanity whether in your own person or in that of another, always as an end and never as a means only. So second one, sorry. So second one, act so that you treat humanity. What is that? Manushyattva, right? That is the human nature is respected whether you in your own person or in that of another, always as an end. So you have to look at, though you go by way of the rule, you have to look at the end and never as a means only. කරන විදිය ගැන නෙමෙයි, end එක ගැනත් හිතන්න ඕනේ, right? Universality, act only so that actions are universally law giving, that is rules guiding our actions are acceptable to everyone, rational. So you go by way of a consistent way, you go by way of a way that you are respecting you are respecting the human or the mankind, and universality is what? You go by way of the way that it will give rise to kind of, yes, universal nature. So these are the three maxims that are being discussed in deontology. Right. So ethics of character. Can you remember? Metana matakaine. Ethics of conduct, ethics of character, right? So this classification is being continued. Please have a look at this. So this is Aristotle theory. Virtue ethics, Aristotelianism, contends that morally correct actions are those undertaken by actors with virtuous characters. Therefore, the formation of a virtuous character is the first step towards morally correct behavior. So, morally correct behavior is initiated by what? Virtuous character, right? So if I am of good character, yes, then yes, my behaviors will be good. Acquired traits, intellectual virtues, moral virtues, asks how you can be a better person. To judge a person is to judge their actions. So you can see how Aristotle has talked about what? These ethics, because he was talking about yes, formation of a good character. So good character is of what? Intellectual virtues, something that you have to ponder, something that you have to consider, something that you have to rationalize and do the virtues, right? Some are generally accepted moral rules, right? Then asks how you can be a better person. Now, for instance, intellectual virtues could be your email code of conduct. No, how do you call someone? How do you write to someone? So that's kind of what? Intellectual virtue. Moral virtues is something that we all know. Respect your elders, yes, look after your parents, right? Respect your boss, yes, and follow his instructions. These are what? Very clear. Then asks how you can be a better person. So this is also something virtual ethics. Now those who are into the readings by this maybe kind of religious texts and maybe kind of positive thinking books, they want to become better persons. Do you understand? To judge a person is to judge their actions. So you judge a person by their actions. That is what? Yes, virtue ethics by Aristotle. Aristotle argue when we are doing something, we do it to gain an end, right? And that the ultimate end of all ends was the chief good, the greatest good. So Aristotle argued, yes, when we do something, we do it to gain an end. Kerawalak dakinaka, right? That that the ultimate end of all ends was the chief good. So if you go by way of this thing, so you good all the things, yes, for the betterment. That is that is what you go by way of the virtue ethics. Virtue ethics or Aristotelianism is talking about your virtues, your behaviors, and your character, right? Rather than the others, you go by way of the conduct, right? Yes. Any question? Yes. Any questions up to this? So far we have come to know that ethics can be divided like this and that. No, that is, yes, go by way of the character, go by way of the, yes, conduct, right? Can we have a look at this? Yes, ethics of rights and justice. Please have a look at this. Now, what is justice before looking at that? What do you mean by the word justice? Right? What do you mean by the word justice? Yes, I have been assaulted by you. Now, what is the justice that I may be seeking? Punishment for you and compensation for me. Yes. So, I mean, that is very fair for me to seek that justice. So, if I don't get that justice, yes, if I see that I am not going to get that justice from the system, what would I do? My psychology will propose certain other means. Maybe I can go and take revenge from you. No? Do you understand? So that is why the role of law is important in society. Justice have to be administered by the law, not by individuals. Do you understand what I mean? When it comes to something to do with law. So when it comes to something to do with family matters, yes, a father or maybe fatherly figure will have to involve and make sure that justice is what? Justice is ensured. එතකොට නැති ඒක නැති වුණොත් තමයි අයියට අක්කට තමයි ඔක්කොම දේවල් මට මුකුත් නැහැ. මට තමයි ඔක්කොම නීති. එයාට මුකුත් නැහැ. So you, I mean that particular right or justice has to be seen even in domestic atmosphere. Otherwise you are not going to be a happy person. Do you understand? We all sense that justice. Yuktiya. Right. Can we have a look at this? So ethics of rights and ethics of justice. Certain basic important unalienable. What is that? You can't transfer it to someone else. Ansatu kala nohaki. Entitlements that should be respected and protected in every single action based on consequences about nature of human dignity, strongly based in Western view of morality. Now, when you are talking, right, whether it is, I mean, whether what kind of context that we are exposed is immaterial. When we are, yes, talking to someone, we have to show, yes, I mean, we have to make sure that we talk with some dignity towards them, right? So that is what? Natural rights. Strong based in, yes, based on consensus about nature of human dignity. Second one, justice. The simultaneously fair treatment of individuals in a given situation. So I have spoken on justice, no? Justice is very much related to what? Fair treatment. Sadharana මොකක්ද කියන්නේ ට්‍රීට්මන්ට් සාධාරණව ඒ තීරණය වෙන්න ඕනේ සාධාරණ අවස්ථාවක් ලැබෙන්න ඕනේ of individuals in a given situation with the result that everybody gets what they deserve. So in an office environment, yes, I have a right to be communicated of my duties, right? I have a right to be spoken politely to me, right? I have a right to be paid for my services that I render, right? Then when I am in quarrel, when I am in disagreement with someone, right, I need what? Yes, fair treatment, right? When someone has blackguarded at me, I need some fair treatment. At least that person shall be what? Yes, shall be advised that he should not do a similar thing in the future against me. So that I expect that that justice shall be carried out. So fair procedures, fair outcomes. Do you understand? Now we coming across with Sri Lankan politics that there are so much of criticism against how General Sarath Fonseca was punished by the so-called court martial, because it is, I mean, people argue that there was no fair procedure of trial. Yeah, that he was dragged by someone to the army headquarters or whatever it is. So we all have a chance. We all should have right that we shall be tried. Tried කියන්නේ නඩු විභාගයක් නා. right? ගෙදරත් නඩු විභාග තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. එළියෙත් නඩු විභාගයක්. So we shall, right? Let me ask you a question, right? I see, we all see, A is shooting at B and A kills B. A kills B, taking his life. Now can he be in prison then and there? We all see. Mahadaval වෙඩි තියෙනවා දැන්. Do you think that yes, he can be sentenced to death? අපි ගල් ගහනවා. දෙන්නම් අපි පටන් ගන්නවා වැඩේ. Right? That is illegal in a way. On the other hand, that shooter, yes, might be, yeah, right. He has a right to be tried in a fair way. එයාටත් නඩු විභාගයක් ඕනේ සාර්ථක, and he must be having his reasons to shoot that person. Do you understand what I mean? So that is very important to understand. People here in Sri Lanka do not understand that even in office environment, right? I come and blackguard you openly. Of course that is wrong, but there is a reason for me to do so. So I shall also be heard. That is called what? Justice. No? ඒක තමයි that we have a court system. Both, yes, plaintiff and the defendant shall be heard. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. එහෙම නැති සිද්ධි ගොඩක් වෙනවනේ නේ. කෙලින්ම can you remember that? I can't remember the exact names. මොකක්ද අර yeah, that small girl of 4-year-old girl was raped by someone. What's his name? Yeah. Sarah. Seya. And first suspected was his grandfather. I can't remember. Something happened.
No, his father, sir. Not grandfather.
Yeah, father was suspected. එතකොට අපි රටම එකතු වෙලා තාත්තව එල්ලුම් ගහට ඇරියා. ටික කාලයක්. Then he got life again, we know. I mean, I'm talking metaphorically, right? Because then, I mean, these journalists, these newspapers and YouTubers, they create the story, no? Right? Then father was released. Then came someone else, no? Yes. So this is not justice. I mean, you have to find who is suspected, and he shall be, yes, given a what? Reasonable, lawful trial. Right? අපි ඒවා වෙන්න කලින්, right? අපි කෙනෙක්ව එල්ලුම් ගහට යවනවායි කියන්නේ what does it mean? Social justice is not there. Sometimes for reason that yes, I am a complete innocent person and I am suspected of something, and almost all the journalism is accusing me, and they have what? Yes, they have convicted me. I might take my life because now I can't face you. Yes, cases have happened like that. So when social justice is not there, when a fair yes, trial is not there, that is, fair procedures are not there, that's very dangerous, my dear friends. That's very dangerous, right? And you have to make sure that fair outcomes are also ensured, right? in Sri Lankan context, yes, fair procedures are there, but fair outcomes are sometimes not there. Now, for instance, right, we all see that man, yes, shot yes A, yes, took B's life by shooting. Now, fair trial has to be there. Yes, you have to hear A's case. Sorry, yes, A's case as well. But whatever the case, right? Whatever the case, we have to see that A is being punished, at least by, yes, maybe 5 years or 10 years of imprisonment. අපිට පේනවා එයා නිදහස් වෙලා යනවා. එල්ලි පිට මරලා තියෙන. Now what? Fair outcomes are not seen. That kind of society is not going to have what? Healthy social relationships anymore. Then yes, you can see maybe yes, violent political movements are coming up, right? Yes, so that is what we have been talking here. Natural rights and yes, did we discuss this one? Yes, please have a look at this limits of traditional theories. So we have discussed theories basically in two flows, no? Character, yes, and results, right? But they have their what? Traditional theory limitations. Now what are limitations? Seema kirim, yes. Now no theory, now maybe like Newton's 3 laws, right? They are very scientific. No, we don't see any limitation on that, but still, yes. Now if you take
Hello, excuse me, sir. I can't hear you.
Yes, sir, you're not audible.
So you're not audible yet.
Right, can you all hear me please? Online?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, thank you. Right. This is too abstractive means, yes, that is not real. I mean, that is not sufficiently real. Just like a picture, I can draw you as you are. That is what, that is real picture. I don't know how to call that in literature. If I draw you as you are, how do you call natural drawing? Abstract කියන්නේ අර දැන් මූණ නිකන් මෙහෙම වෙලා නිකන් විකෘති වෙලා අඳින්න පුළුවන් ඒව කෝටි ගණන් විකිරෙනවා ඒවා. Right, so that is abstract. So these theories may be not as real as we expect. Reductionist, what is that? The two focus on certain things and that is not common. That is reductionist. Then you have two objective and end list. You go by way of a list, and again that is not common, so you go by way of that objective. Impersonal is not that is related to persons, but they go as a set of theories, not අර පුද්ගල බද්ධ පුද්ගලවාදී නෑ. මිනිස්සු ගැන කතා කරන්නේ හරියටම කතා කරන්නේ නෑ. So these are some limitations, right? You can argue other way as well, right? Too rational, right? And too codified. No? Too rational and too codified means now people sometimes are emotional. No? So you don't take that emotions into account as far as these theories are concerned. Now I would like to talk a little on emotional and rational in this context because that is important in office life, right? Now as correctly pointed out here, we need to be rational in our office life, no? Because we have been given certain rules. Now you are a bank manager, right? I come for a loan. You are my friend. Yes. Can you go beyond the rules and help me? Of course, if there is some political involvement, that has happened, no? I have been sent by the Mantri Tuma and you have been called by him, so you will give. That is also irrational, but yes, you are under obligation. Now those managers will also have certain repercussions. I'm not talking about those things, right? Now, you are my friend and I come for loan. So there is a limit that you can do, no? That is what? That is rational decision making. You have to say no. Do you understand? We had a party last night, right? That singing party. All these were pre-arranged. There was a band and there were singing. Now people are coming and asking for what? Singing, I mean, to be given a chance for them to sing. Now we can't say yes because the band is there and we have a line of people, right? Now you have to take what rational decisions there. No? Even the event is entertaining. Sometimes you can't take. Right? Now even in an office, certain yes, emotional decisions can also be taken certain occasions. Can I give you an example? No. Because we are looking at these limitations, right? When you go by way of the theories, my dear friends, right? Sometimes you have to be too rational, and that means you can't be, yes, little emotional as well. Now, so that is a limitation. Some room for emotions should be there in any context. Give me an example of that. A person might take decision maybe 100% or nearly 100% in his life by emotions. Give me an example of a person taking a decision, yes, nearly 100% of emotions or emotional decision making. Mother taking emotion, yeah. What kind of? No, mother is not always. She is not always emotional, no, because she has to be what? She has to be rational as well. Then you have to tell me what kind of situation is that? Mother on behalf of her children on what? She is always emotional. She is not always. So you have to pinpoint this is the context. But if I say when someone is selecting yes, someone else for his or her marriage, do you expect him to be largely rational or largely emotional? ඔගොල්ලෝ කසාද බැඳපු අය දැකලා ඇතිනේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ ඒ තීරණ අරගත්තේ රැෂනල්ද ඉමෝෂනල්? largely. What do you think? Emotion. දැක්කා ඊට පස්සේ මේ දැන් රූපයට පස්සේ වුණා පස්සෙන් ගියා. ඊට පස්සේ මනුස්සයාට ලෝකේ තියෙන හොඳ ඔක්කොම දාන. යා දන්නවනේ යා තමයි යම් මේ මනුස්සයාට මුකුක්වත් නෑ ඒවා. But we Lord, no, because we want to see our partner is the best in the world. කොහෙන්ද ඒක අල්ලගත්තේ? ඉස්සෙල්ලාම රූපේ දැකලා තමයි ලස්සන. I mean nothing wrong with that, right? But all these are what? Emotional based. I mean, if we were rational, we would have first gone and checked our blood compatibility. I mean, if you want to have a kid, right, whether we are free from thalassemia and all those things, කවුරුවත් එහෙම බලපු කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවද ලෝකේ? බඳින්න කලින්. That is it. So most of the cases, marriage is a what? Predominantly emotional. Office එකේ පුළුවන් දේ සෙල්ලම් කරන්න. මම එනවා. So you are the banker, I am the customer. පොඩ්ඩක් දාලා මසල්ලි. මං දාලා දෙන්න. එන් දාලා දෙන්න ඔයාගෙන් දාලා දෙන්න. You can't take emotional decisions like that, no? Now I'm talking about limitations, right? So yeah, we'll say like this. Now you are the sectional head. Maybe you are heading the HR division. We'll say accounts, right? You are the finance head. Now your GM or the CEO says that I need these accounts by day after tomorrow. Right? That can happen. Now what has happened to CEO? CEO is suddenly asking accounts to be finalized 2 days from today. What would have happened to him? Unless he has gone mad. අපි තග්ගල බයින්නේ කාටද? මූ පේනවාද යකෝ දැන් ඉල්ලනවනේ මේ කියලා බයින. But he has been pressurized by the board. Board must have been pressurized by the ඔය තියෙන්නේ. This is line up. So you have to understand, my dear friend, this is not what you call things ad hoc. These happen because of some reason. Because they don't know, right? So your CEO says that you are the sectional head. Can we put some easy? Unless you are too much harassed, right? So your CEO says this is this. Now I want final accounts from 2 days, and you understand now. Your people, maybe you are the chief, yes, right? And maybe you are having 15 people. Now you know for sure if you want to issue final accounts by 2 days, we have to work tomorrow full day and night. Everybody has to be there. Now what do? You call the people and tell, yes, my dear friend, yes, look here, this is not my decision, our boss wants. So there could be certain occasions that certain emergencies and urgencies would arise. So what? So you communicate. There is communication skills, right? And one person comes and says, Sir, tomorrow is my first kid's first birthday. So we have arranged what? Some birthday party. So what can I do? Because we have invited everyone and this is very sudden decision that our boss has taken, big boss has taken, I understand. So you have to first explain what? The situation as the finance chief, you have to explain that to that man. Nimal, yes, I understand your aunt. First and foremost, you have to say that you understand his position. Yes, that this is your first this thing. So, okay, keep that thing a little. Now, if you want to be 100% rational, when Nimal comes and tells you that, yes, his first kid's first birthday, 100% rational, what would you say? තාමසේ ළමයි හැදුවේ මගෙන් අහලා. හෙට එනවා නැත්තම් රස්සාව නැහැ. මම කිව්වද ළමයි හදන්න කියලා? මේක රස්සා. That is what 100%. There are some bosses like that. 100% emotional. What would you do? නිමල් ඔයා යන්න. කමලුත් වෙනවා ඊළඟට. සර් අපේ ආච්චිගේ බර්ත්ඩේ එක මම මට ඉන්නේ ආච්චි විතරයි ආච්චිට ඉන්නේ මං විතරයි. අපි මට බර්ත්ඩේ එකට යන්න ඕනේ පන්සල් යන්න ඕනේ. අපි නෑ. එතකොට දැන් ඔයාට මොකද බෑ කියන්නේ? So this is what kind of a situation that certain theories might not address because these are emotional problems. Now how would you handle that? When Nimal comes and tells you, so you have to strike a balance between what? Emotional and rational. Okay, Nimal, I understand your problem, but you have to understand my problem, right? I need everyone to be working tomorrow because our CEO wants this thing. So this may be a small function you must be having. So have it, and soon after the function, I will send a vehicle or you hire a vehicle and come to office. රෑ 11ට මාට විතර කෝල් එකක් එනවා ඔයගොල්ලන්. සර් මට පොඩ්ඩක් වැඩි. right? ඒක නිසා මට එන්න හෙට උදේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ තීරණ ගන්නේ මොකෙන්ද? 100% rational. So in that situation, earlier situation, you struck a balance between what? Rational and emotional. You gave some solution to him. They are not addressed here, no? You understand? That creativity is not addressed in any one of these theories. That's what they say. You need to you need to exercise your creativity as well in that kind of situation. සමහර ඒවා බැරි ඒවා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Do you understand? Now, okay. So this is too imperialistic, too dominating. මේක මෙහෙම තමයි වෙන්න ඕනේ එච්චරයි කතාව. So no room for creativity in other words. So that's there because that is codified, no? Everything is codified, so that is imperialistic කියන අර ආධිපත්‍ය පතුරෝගෙන ඉන්නවා. මිනිහෙකුට එතනින් එහා දෙයක් කරන්න බැරි විදියට. So those are the limitations of what? These traditional theories, right? Any question from the online? Yes, can we have a look at these things? Now, when we look at the considerations, one's own interest, that is egoism. We have consideration, typical questions you may ask yourself, and theory is what? Egoism. You can have a look at this. Social consequences, yes. More benefit for more people, that is what? Utilitarianism. Duties to others, ethics of duty, right? Entitlement of others, right? Ethics of rights, that duty and right we discuss. Fairness, justice, character and integrity, virtue ethics, and relationships and responsibility, ethics of care. Now, why they have put this table here? People might look at in different scenarios in different perspectives. One perspective is what? My own interest. මගේ අයිතිය, මගේ benefit එක. එහෙම මිනිසුන්ට හිතන්න පුළුවන්. Right? When you are reading for an examination, you have to first think of, yes, what? Well, you have to first think of what? One's own interest, my dear, right? When you have to make sure that you keep good health habits, you have to think of your what? පාටි වලට යන්නේ මම යාළුවන්ට බෑ කියන මොකද බොන්න වෙනවා මට. මට බොන්න නොබී ඉන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. ඒකත් කියමුකෝ මට නිදි මරන්න හොඳ නෑ. ඉතින් මම පාටි වලට බෑ කියනවා. Why? Right? Because my consideration is what? One's own interest. Do you understand? Then people might look at what? Social consequences. What are the impact on society? Then duties to others. My duties to my students, my parents, right? Spouse, siblings, entitlement of others. අනික් අයට තියෙන අයිතිය ගැන මම කතා කරනවානේ. Yes, some people talk about, yes, they are right. In that way, this what is that group? LGBTQ. No? L stands for now. That is no. You can't laugh at them because that is we might not.
It's LGBTQ.
You were talking about the group. Okay, I thought that you are trying to say that no signals. Man. Without no signal, you can talk anything. Yes. What do you want to say, dear? LGDP. Okay. L stands for what? We should know that category, right? I mean, as far as Buddhism is concerned, we might be born in next birth a member of that group. So, මේ ආත්මය ගැන කතා කරලා තිබුත් අඩු ධර්මයේ ආත්මයේ රයිට්ස් ටිකවත් ලැබෙයි. right? සමහරට ඒ පිනෙන් අපි ආයි එහෙම ඉපදෙන්නේකුත් නැහැ. Do you understand? So, and that now ethics can be viewed religiously as well. එහෙම කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. That is, we discussed the origin of the sources of ethics. එහෙමත් කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. But disregarding those religious teachings, we can go by way of entitlement of others. No? මේක duties කියන්නේ අපි කරන්න ඕන යුතුයකම්. දෙමෝපියන් සලකන්නේ මේ මොනවද? අනිත් අයගේ මොනවද? අයිතිවාසිකම්. They also have a right. L lesbians. G gays. B LGBT transgender. LGBT B the bisexual. Then Q queer, no? Queer is weird. I don't know. අමුතුනේ they can queer can none of the above, something like that. I don't know. අර එකටකටවත් වැටෙන්නේ නැතුව, but they are not how do you call, they are not, you can't say they are not normal. No, they are normal and they don't fall into the majority. අන්න එහෙමයි ගන්න. හරිද? දැන් abnormal කියන්න බෑ because world has recognized that as a what group. හැබැයි ඒගොල්ලන්ට මෙහෙමයි. ඒක recognize කරත් නැත අන්න ඒ කාලෙත් අපි insult කරේ නෑ. Then again, that kind of a different ethic, no, that we don't insult them. Now we are looking at giving them what? ඔන්න ප්‍රශ්නේ පටන් ගන්න තැන. Giving them rights for them to ride. What do we say? So don't insult them, don't harass them, don't injure them, but don't recognize them as a separate group. එමනේ අපි කියන්නේ ඒක ප්‍රොමෝට් කරන්න එපා. ඒ කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? අරක no entitlement for them, let them be there, and they can't rise as a group. Do you understand? When we don't recognize them as a group, you're kind of a disregard. Oh, how do you call that? What is the word? That you're outcast, right? Something like that, right? So that is entitlement of others. I think digga kata, no? I mean, whether when it comes to that group, right? Then you go by way of our consideration might be fairness, sadharanatva. You saw theories of justice. Then character and integrity. You go by way of character එක හොඳයි. when you want to make an icon, when you want to make a brand. No, this is virtue ethics. Relationships and responsibility ethics of care. No? You might be having different types of friends. Yeah, some people are very much caring on you. No? Poddak kiyana, they are so concerned about. Some people, this is very important. That imagine that you say something to your friend, maybe your sleep is not enough. Maybe I can't sleep well, මචං ඒ වගේ කියනකොට අරයා මේ පැන පොඩක් දියා. එහෙම කියනවනම් what? Yes, ethics of care is not there. Not only friends, there are spouses like that. මට ඔළුව කැක්කුමයි යන්නේ. මාළුවෙක් හැදුවද? අන්න. So no ethics of care. I mean, you can't have that kind of relationship, in my opinion, long term. Lankai hunga denikutta, how do you call that virtue? That's called what? Yes, mutual understanding. What else? To sense other, how do you call that? What is that? Yeah, based on emotional intelligence, right? If you can understand others' emotions, how do you call that? Empathy. Why? We have not been taught of that. No? Saha company. Can අර මනුස්සයට දැන් මොකද දැනලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා මට හරි බයක් දැනෙනවා නේ කියලා ඕගොල්ලෝ කියනවා. නැත්නම් යාළුවෙක් ඕගොල්ලන්ට කියනවා. මේ යමුද ෆැෂන් බග් එක පැත්තේ ඇඳුමක් ගන්න. ඔන්න ඕගොල්ලන්ට තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න තමයි කියන්නේ. I think you have come across with that type of people, right? Haven't you? Right? And you must have come across with people of, yes, superb type as well. They are very responsive. They are very empathetic. Right? Do you understand? So that's what? All matters in ethics, no? Do you understand? That's called what? Ethics of care. So in ethics, people would consider these, people would ponder all these considerations. So the theory is there, right? Please have a look at this. Ethical decisions concerned with judgment about right and wrong, right? That is ethical decision. I think I started the lesson today by taking a couple of ethical decisions, no? That I ask you to imagine yourself as a pilot, no? Those things. Ethical decision concerned with judgment about right and wrong, we can, right? අර ගෙවල් ටික කඩාගෙන ජීවිත ටික බේරන්නේ යනවාද නැද්ද, right? Something like that. So there's one person called Morris, using the language of right and wrong already identifies that situation is moral in nature. Sadacharaatmakada. Question: how do we objectively decide whether situation should be assigned moral status in the first place? Decision is likely to have significant effects on others. Likely to be characterized by choice in that alternative courses of action are open. Decision perceived as ethically relevant by one of pre-parties. So when you are taking ethical decisions, how do we objectively decide whether a situation should be assigned moral status in the first place? Whether this is a moral situation or not? Because now ethical decision is a decision that you have to make that when you are faced with a moral situation. Now if I am a customer and you are a bank manager, I come to you and ask for a loan and I don't have any collateral, you say no. No ethics are involved, no morals. That's it. Sorry මචං කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. අද හැන්දෑවට සෙට් වෙලා බොමු. එච්චර තමයි කරන්නේ. හිතේ දුකට බොන්න අරන් දෙන්න. No loans. I mean, no decision. Right? Do you understand? I mean, don't invite him to have a drink, right? I mean, හොඳටම ගහලා එකකින් marry ඊළඟ, right? But how do we objectively decide whether situation needs some what? ethical decision. Number one, decision is likely to have, you can switch it off, right? Ethical decision, right? Decision is likely to have significant effects on others, and significant effect on others, right? AC. So likely to be characterized by choice, and choice. Mage choice එක ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ choice එක. Right? In that alternative courses of action are open, right? Alternative courses are action, whether to continue with the AC or switch it off. Decision perceived as ethically relevant by one of the pre-parties. Ethical relevant, no? That is, yes, whether I allow you to, yes, regulate it or not. So that's a ethical decision that I am going to make here. There is no rule, no? I do understand. So when there is no such law or rule or whatever, it is very rigid, and decision is likely to significant effects on others. අනිත් අය කෙරෙහි ලොකුවට බලපානවා නම්. දෙක, likely to be characterized by choice. මගේ choice එකෙන් නම් ඒක එන්නේ, right? And that alternative courses of action are open. Tick tick tick, I have number of, yes, actions. Decision perceived as ethically relevant by one of the pre-parties, then that is what? Ethical decision making. In other words, when my decision is very obvious that I have to take like this, yes, almost all the other decisions are what? Maybe ethical decision making. Now when the class is over, whether you go home or anywhere else, right, it might be ethical because you are what? You are dependent on your parents' money, right? And what? If you go, yes, somewhere bad, it will be what? There will be significant effects on your parents' goodwill. අන්න අරයාගේ පුතා දුව තමයි අර අහුවෙලා තියෙන්නේ. Right? They likely to be characterized by choice. ඔය තියෙන දැන් ඔයාට කොලා මාට දුන්න ගමන් අද මම කොලා මාට ඉවර කරනවා because I have a choice. I am little down, right? So you have a choice to go here, there, කුං ඕන දෙයක් මං එනවාද ඔයගොල්ලෝ පිටිපස්සේ. OCB එක එනවාද පිටිපස්සේ. Parents ලා එනවාද පිටිපස්සේ. You are going to make an ethical, right? Next one. Yes, perceived as ethically relevant. ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවනේ. Right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ යන්නේ යන ගමන ඩොක්ටර්ගෙන් බෙහෙත් ගන්න නෙමෙයි ඔය යන්නේ හොර ගමන. You know for sure, right? But all journeys are not that bad, right? I am not how can I say, I'm not branding you as such, right? But that is ethical decision that you are going to make even now, even soon after the class. So හැබැයි කන්නේ මොකද්ද කියන එක, maybe if you want to have something that has nothing to do with ethical because it has not impact on the others, do you understand? Right? So unless you are married and having kids, right, you can't yes, then you can't have something you like because you have to be very cautious and conscious because there are so many dependent on you. So you can't take even your own life as you wish. That again, yeah, හරියට ස්වාමි පුරුෂයෙක් බිරිඳක් මේ හරියට ළමයි ඉන්නවනේ එයා හරියට කාලා ඉන්නවයි කියන්නේ අඳින එක පැස්සකින් තිබ්බද, right? That's kind of a ethical decision because you are concerned about what? Your kids and your spouse, නේ. ලංකාවේ කී දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවද 7-5කට ළමයි ගැන ගණන් ගන්න. හැබැයි ළමයින්ට අම්බු කරලා දෙනවා. ළමයින්ට ඕනේ සල්ලි නෙමෙයි. They want what? Love. They want care. They want association, right? Right? Do you understand? So that is something ethical decision that you have to make. Our most of our fathers are very well known for what? Yes, having love inside their heart but not showing. ළමයි කොහොමද දන්නේ තාත්තා ආදරේ කියලා? So if you are, I mean, if you are a loving father, yes, you have to show that love. Nothing wrong with that. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඇතුලේ තියාගෙන සින්දු ලියනවා. පෙන්නුවේ නෑ මහා මෙර තරම් උසයි අරකයි මේකයි. ඉතින් ළමයි දන්නවද මහා මෙරක් ගැන? සාහිත්‍යයට හොඳයි. Right? And nothing has to do with ethics. But I mean, if you have love, you have to show. It does not mean that you have to be weird and show. කොච්චර ළමයි බදාගෙන ඉන්න පිස්සු තාත්තා කෙනෙක් වෙන එක නෙමෙයි. Right? when it is the relevant time, you have to show it, right? So when you become fathers, right, it's up to you to show. Nothing wrong with that. Where are typical fathers? I normally don't advise, but this is a piece of advice for you, right? For everyone, not only for boys. ඉතින් අර ලව් එක පෙන්නන අම්මා කෙනෙක් තාත්තා කෙනෙක් වෙන්න මොකෝ නීතියෙන් තහනන්න ආගමෙන් තහනන්න සදාචාරයෙන් තහනන්න ආචාර ධර්ම වලින් තහනන්න ගෙදරින් තහනන්න මේක මොකද්ද දාගත්තේ self imposed limitation අන්න තමන්ම දාගෙන තියෙනවා self imposed limitation තාත්තා කෙනෙක් නම් ආදරේ පෙන්නන්න හොඳ නෑ මෙයා ඉන්නෝනේ මේ විදියට පට්ට බොරු හරිද awareness, judgment, intent, and behavior. 4 process components of ethical decision making. When you are, so we were talking about ethical decision. We have to make sure that we are aware of the situation and the judgment and the content of that judgment and the behavior. We'll take one by one. Yes, framework for understanding ethical decision. Yes. Now, long-lasting framework for conceptualizing rationalist ethical decision making in 4 stages, right? So, now, can I come back a little? Ethical decisions have to fulfill all these, all the 3 requirements. 1, 2, 3. So when you are making the the decision, your awareness and your judgment and the intent, right, and the behavior are very important, right? We'll say you are a boss, right, and you are going to punish one of your employees because he has been found insubordination. What is that? Insubordination is a punishable offense inside. What is insubordination? එයාගේ ලොක්ක කියපු දේ අහලා නැහැ. නීතියානුකූලව, right? Now, if you are my boss, if you command me to shoot one of his enemies at office, can I do so? Why? I am only bound by lawful commands by you. There are, give me 1 second, right? There are 2 cases, very important. That Nuremberg, have you heard of Nuremberg? Hitler's people, Hitler's army, the chiefs, when they were tried, ඒගොල්ලන්ට විරුද්ධව නඩු විභාගෙ තියෙනකොට, what was their how do you call, what was their defense? We were ordered by our senior members. So court held what? Even though your superior officers have commanded, you can't do unlawful thing. Killing is an unlawful thing. Same was followed. Have you ever heard of Premavati Manamperi? Yes, she was a beauty queen from Kataragama, and she was brutally murdered by the then army, that in 1970s. And the same legal position was held by, if I'm not mistaken, the Supreme Court at that time, right, saying that even though the soldier had been ordered by the senior officer, he can't be shooting. So both were sentenced to death. I don't know whether they were hanged or not, sorry, or maybe life imprisonment, that's there, right? So why I took that, I can't remember why I took that. Maybe because of, the judgment and the intent, your intention and the behavior, will be taken into consideration. So, so even that when you are making a moral, I took the example of that you want to punish, right? Now he has been found, yes, what is the offense that I mentioned? Insubordination. ඒ කියන්නේ තමන්ගේ ලොක්කාගේ නීතියානුකූල උපදෙස් පිළිපැදලා නැහැ. You understand? Now, I am the big boss, right? I have found you being not what? Being in subordination. That is, you have been insubordinate to your boss, who is my subordinate, right? So then what? I am going to punish you, right? So that is an kind of an ethical decision that I am going to make, right? So I have to be what? Aware of that, and I have to make the judgment, and my intention should not be what? Taking revenge from you, right? But correcting then my behavior. What is that? Yes. After that, you can't be talking about yes, your punishment and his offense. That's over. Right? Do you understand? Again, the ogullo bossla unahama, this is very important. When you are going to make an ethical decision, yes, you have to go through this, and last one is behavior. After the decision has been made, that's it. Then I mean, if somebody has asked you, then you can show the causes as to why you have taken, right? To understand. So today we started with the theories relating to what? Ethical, I would say, framework, no? How we understand our ethical behavior by way of theories. So there we came across with two streams, right? And we discussed certain other aspects of theories as well. On top of all, we discussed certain what? Actual, or rather we would say real situations as to how we can handle those things ethically. And we have come to know certain things are very tough, certain things are very unclear for us to make a decision, and in those situations especially, you don't have to regret, you don't have to worry, you don't have to feel guilty, because you have already understood the framework. In the එහෙම හිතන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. Right? I can give you one example. ඔයගලන්ට මේ සිංහල චිත්‍රපටියක් බැලුවා නම් the newspaper කියලා. And you remember the newspaper? ඒකේ කියන්නේ මේ ඒ කාලේ යුද්ධ කාලේ සිංහල කෙනෙක්ව අල්ල ගන්නවා මේ අර කොටින්ට ආධාර කළා කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ සිංහල ගමේ ඉන්න ඇත්ත කතාවක් එක. That happened in Gallal, that is off Polonnaruwa. Maybe somewhere around 80s or 90s. That's a true story. ඊට පස්සේ ඒ කෙනා ඒ සිංහල කෙනා මේ ගොත්තුවක් දීලා ඒ මනුස්සයත් මැරිලා ඒ බෝම්බ ඇටැක් එකකින්. ඊට පස්සේ මුළු අර සිංහල ගම්මානෙම එකතුලා අර මිනිසුන්ගේ අර අම්මයි අන්ත අසරණ මිනිසුන් කකුල් කඩලා නැත්තරම නැති කරනවා. Right? So that is the story that they were revealing in this film newspaper. And why I took that? Because you can't take judgments like that, right? And I mean, when you are not responsible for your decisions, judgments, right? People can argue, people can counter argue in different ways. So that's why I took that example, which was actually brutal, on the so-called same race. Can I show you, maybe taking 1 minute from your precious time? Newspaper. I don't think that is available
as an end, a subject, somebody that has reason and autonomy, just like you do. So you should treat everyone with the respect that they deserve as rational, autonomous beings. Thanks for watching.
How do you come out with the full screen? Escape, right? Thanks. I don't know whether the full Sinhala movie is available. Yeah, this is the full newspaper is available. You can watch it, no? We'll check whether it is. You can watch it. It is a nice film, right? ගොඩාක් ඔය ethics ගැන තියෙනවා ඒ අපි හිතන්නේ නැති පැති, right? How do people take decisions, right? And that's a කතාව කියන්න හොඳ නැහැ, right? Okay, so can we watch that film during the week? That's a good hobby, no? Watching මොනවාද? ඔය ගේම් ගහන්න ලැහත් තියෙන්න එපා. ඕ මල ජරාවල්. කොක් කොක් ගගා ඕවෙන් ethics එන්නේ නැහනේ. But when you watch a good movie, you will inculcate. That will give to your stream so much of energy, so much of ethics, so much of good behavior. So with that we conclude the lesson for today, because I have to start another game now from 12:30. Otherwise I would have done. Can we meet next week same as 8:30, right? And go up to 12. Thank you and have a safe week. Thank you for online as well, right?
Thank you, sir.
Right. Please watch the movie, yeah? It's in Sinhala anyway. Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, this is videos. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, sir.